Hey boardies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon, so I'm showing you how to set up, play and review the game Unmatched Redemption Road. This is Marvel, Luke Cage versus Ghost Rider versus Moon Knight. Now I did say Moon Rider before, so I do apologise. In that unboxing teaser trailer video, we have a chance to see what things are coming soon to the channel. So double-sided board, we have the raft, as you can see here, and also again the raft on this side too. It's an asymmetric game for 2 to 3 players in this particular box. I was most recently playing this as a 2. I can play it as a 3. You can play this one as a 3, as I said. I have played it as a 4 as well with other characters such as in the Cobble and Fog. You're going to have Ghost Rider, for example, set up. So we're going to just stick a Ghost Rider over here. Most recently I played as Luke Cage against Ghost Rider, starting on the raft. And Ghost Rider, it happens to be against, in this instance, Luke Cage with Misty Knight. So Misty Knight happens to be over here. We're going to have the relative cards for Luke Cage. And again, it takes about 30 minutes or so. Over here we have Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider's deck's here. Aim of the game, destroy your opponents and you will win the game. It's that kind of a game. So there's been various character tokens in play. We've got some Hellfire tokens I'll show you in a moment, and various things which we're going to also chuck out. So various things that can give you a bit of an extra boost, a bit more of abilities when things can be triggered, things that happen once in the game, and once they've occurred, these tokens are then returned back to the box. So I think everything's been placed out presently. Oh, and there's one here too. So this is a 4K recording. Well, of course, zoom in if you need to, pause as necessary. Like I said, Moon Knight, we're not going to show you in this particular setup, and the review will in this instance be focusing purely on these guys. So you're going to start the character's strength, the respective health. Whilst I'm doing this, please ensure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and like, comment and share. And via the description, you can also support the channel via Patreon and go through and do various other things too. So you're going to have various cards. You are going to draw a stack of cards initially. A stack will be for 5 cards. So you're going to take 5 cards each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you are able to start. So what can you do in your turn? Well, for example, Luke Cage. What Luke Cage can be doing is this person can be moving. The youngest player starts. So in this case, it'll be myself. So Luke Cage, just to let you know, has an additional ability whereby he can take 2 fewer or 2 less combat damage from attacks, and when defending, Luke Cage wins combat if he takes no damage, even if he didn't play a card. Misty Knight does ranged attack. So right now they have a movement value of 2. We talked about their health and the various things you can do in your turn. So starting off, if you wish to, if you want to play a maneuver ability, you're able to draw a card. So we've got 5 cards at hand. Let's say for the time being, they're going to draw a card up to 6, and now have a hand limit of 7. And then you're going to move 2. So we're going to move Misty Knight 1, 2, and we're going to move Luke Cage there. That's our first action to maneuver. Now we could move again, 1, 2, and move Misty Knight again for 2, and that would finish my turn because you can only take 2 actions. But instead you could do a combination of things. You could scheme as an action, you could attack as an action. Again, you could do the same action twice. In this instance, what you could choose to do is move up to your distance, which up to your maneuvering ability, which is 2. But you could spend an additional card and move that distance as well, so you spend a card. The reason why you may not want to spend cards is you lose the game if you run out of cards, which I have seen pretty much happen as well before. So that's something you can do. You can maneuver. Something else you can do is you can scheme. To scheme, you are playing a card with a lightning bolt. In this instance, you're going to place Luke Cage adjacent to the nearest opposing fighter and gain 1 action. So let's say, let's just reset this. My first action, I'm going to play this card. So I've lost a card in my hand. I'm now going to move Luke Cage all the way over here. I can now gain another action. Now, I've now got 2 actions remaining. I could attack. In this instance, any person, so that's Misty Knight or Luke Cage, could attack. Or in this case, Luke Cage can attack. For the time being, let's just play this one because it gives me more flexibility. Luke Cage is going to attack for the second action. The first action, again, was remember to move. So that was the maneuvering. Now he's going to auto scheme in this instance. So scheming for 1 action, now he's going to attack for 1 action. So that means playing one of these cards or one of the purple cards. Purple cards mean you can either be attacking or defending. That's what they can be used for and who can use it. So Luke Cage is attacking. So face down, a card goes here. Ghost Rider is going to look through their cards that they have available. Remember, 5 cards, and draw 1 and see what to play against it. They don't know what it's going to be. Luke Cage reveals that 4. And Ghost Rider reveals a 3 in this instance. So right now, we have a 4 against 3. Ghost Rider starts off with a health higher than Luke Cage or Misty individually, but cumulatively it's lower. So Ghost Rider over here starts with 17. So 17, the difference is 1, it's lost 1 health. And aside from that, after combat, if Ghost Rider started this turn in a different space, gain 2 Hellfire. Well, it didn't. Let's just talk about this Hellfire briefly. So Hellfire is something that helps out, I guess you could say, Ghost Rider slightly differently. So let's just make sure we've got these all aligned, which right now I'm struggling to recall how you put them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These do make a specific shape, which right now I'm struggling to do, but they do happen to make, let me just turn the box over and show you an example. Yeah, they're pointing outwards, so I've got them the way around like this. Again, if you haven't already, hit the description up so you can support the channel via Patreon. There's over 2,300 posts over on Instagram, and you can enjoy the chat over on Facebook group. Okay, so that is one action. We still had a second action, so we've played a scheme, we've attacked, these cards are now be discarded, and then we've also got that final turn because that scheme gave us a different ability. And let's say for the final action, what does Luke have? He's got 4 cards. It could attack again. It could choose to defend, which makes no sense presently. Let's choose to attack. So again, that card will be face down presently. Let's just say that Ghost Rider happens to have this card, and it's not relevant, so it can't play. Let's say it can't play a card. It's just going to have to take 5 damage. So unfortunately, it's acting as a meat shield. It's lost 5 more damage, so now it's down to 11. And that ends the turn for Luke Cage. They have taken 2 actions. Now it's over to Ghost Rider's turn. It's going to look through its card, and what it could choose to do is it could choose to actually move. So in this instance, when it's moving, it could choose to use its Hellfire ability to move. Now, let me show you what that means. So when it starts the game with 5 Hellfire, so these can get spent, as you can see. And when you maneuver, which means when you're moving, you may spend 1 Hellfire. And if you do, increase Ghost Rider's movement, so Ghost Rider's movement value to 4. He may also move through opposing fighters, then deal 1 damage to each opposing fighter he moved through. So in this instance, it can move through here, like this, and up to 4. And then it suddenly is going to deal 1 damage. So I've dealt 1 damage, you can't go back and forth, it's doing 1 off damage. So now Luke Cage is down to 12. So that's the first action, okay? And now of course it's spent that, so it's lost something. It's got a second action it can do. Let's just grab some cards and see what it might be. I mean, something it can choose to do is you can gain Hellfire, move Ghost Rider up to one adjacent fighter, up to 4 spaces each. So let's say it moves it here, and then it gains 2 Hellfire. In that case, it's not very efficient, but it's at least gained something else and an additional action. Okay, so the game continues. Like I said, it was a pretty close game. Misty Knight was lost off, and it happened to be that Luke Cage did prevail with a health of around 7. So what do I think of the game? I think it's very good. I've played numerous asymmetric games, about my 46th now, and it's very enjoyable. It's a lot snappier and faster as a 2 than it is as a 4. It definitely feels like, you know, you're aliens in a kind of, I guess, a ventilation shaft. You're not sure where you're going to go, and it's tricky to see what's going to go on. The quality's fine. I still find it's a bit abstracted when you do see these circular locations, but it is very clear. You can only attack in a zone equal to the colour that you're in. So right now, obviously it has to be adjacent in this instance, but with Misty Knight, when you're doing ranged attack as opposed to melee, then you of course can only be doing damage in a certain zone. But if you happen to be in a space like this, you could be damaging here or here. If you're in a space like this, you can be doing any of these spaces, you could be doing these spaces. If you're here, you could be doing here and here, etc. Very tactical game. It's very straightforward. You're doing 1 of 3 actions. So unlike Marvel Champions, where there's a bit more other stuff going on, it's not too difficult to get across. There are obviously lots of other Unmatched sets. It's a very popular, I guess, system. Very popular way in which you can mix and match things literally. And, you know, sometimes you're going to have 3 different things in a box. Sometimes you're going to have just the one, like with Deadpool and Spider-Man and stuff like that, where they're just rushing stuff out. But sometimes you can have up to 4 different characters. Obviously, seeing some characters, like in some games, when I happen to see, you know, you're playing a card and I never really pay attention, like in Magic or Legacy, not really paying attention to actually the fact that it's a fountain. All I know is it's just given me the ability to add something else. So thematically, it doesn't have to have a strong momentum for me. but it does its job. Obviously, they are very different characters. You can see why Unmatched is very relevant to this. And yes, it's above average rating for me. My average rating is a 6.33 or 6.34 currently. And this I give, a 7. So enjoy this. And again, if you wish to see more, check out the other stuff on my playlist for 2-player games, amongst other things. This has been Unmatched, Redemption Row, Marvel, Luke Cage versus Ghost Rider versus Moon Knight. And yeah, look forward to bringing you more information as it comes. Well, back to the table.